number 5 at Belmont Park. It is Australia race number 13 for our Singapore viewers. It's the Ready for Crown Perth opening day handicap over the 1600 metres. Of course, next Saturday we return to Ascot, so looking forward to all of that. So Perth Racing have done a great job updating the members floor as well. Got some great carnival and events coming up there as well. So do visit perthracing.com.au for all of that information. This race over the 1600 metres, certainly another interesting one to take a look at. Kapanda has been there and abouts now. You have a look at its recent runs, third, second, third. So certainly been there and abouts, but just hasn't been able to win. It's been 332 days now. Illuminator was a really good victory last start, beating Night Prowler, but it was a really good run by Night Prowler as well. We'll get its chance again here. And then Meteoroid, a winner 2 starts ago, finished second last start behind Special Delivery, which I have my best bet of the day later on in the program as well. So the Meteoroid form lines do read really well. The replay that we are going to take a look at though, we threw this out as the best bet of the day last start. It was number 3 Illuminated, and it got the job done for us.
Illuminated. Gee, Galaxy Sun got through inside of him though. He's getting right up along the rail. In the meantime, Night Prowler shot to the lead. Night Prowler's gone to the front. Illuminated picks up now though, gets into the clear. Down the outside, Kapanda, Paddy's flat. Night Prowler with 100 to go. The leader from Illuminated, Kapanda. Night Prowler fighting hard. Illuminated lifted by Pike. He's driving hard. Illuminated goes to Night Prowler. Too good again.
It was a really good performance there by Illuminated. As I said, Ian and I had it as our best bet, and it did get the job done by a half length in the end. Loved the way that it showed that turn of foot and was able to win and show the fight. A few question marks, I guess, here. Stays in the 60 plus and goes up to 2 kilos, but I think this horse is going to improve again, so that may just counter out the weight here. Night Prowler, as I said, only lost by a half length, was second up on that occasion and only goes up a half kilo, so the 1.5 kilo swing here for a half length defeat. You'll always get a price about this horse, Night Prowler. They like to leave it around the $10 mark, and if you can get a little bit of value, it might be the way to play in this race. Number 1 Kapanda, also in that race as well, carries the same weight, so gets a nice 2 kilo swing on Illuminated and a half kilo swing there on Night Prowler. As I mentioned, has been there and about, so just can't have it to win without saluting for that time. Once I see the victory, maybe it can string a few together, but it is just continuing to be a bridesmaid at the moment, and I'll be leaving it in my 4, but not to win for this race. And number 6 Meteoroid, as I mentioned, I know that Simon Miller has a really high opinion of this horse. Lucy Warwick keeps the ride. Very good victory first up, had to work into the wind and was able to fight on that day, was the only leader to do so. And then, as I mentioned last start, was beaten a short half head by Special Delivery, which I think is a very impressive horse. These two battled down the straight, and William Pike just wasn't going to give that win to Lucy Warwick at all. I think the form lines are strong enough. I've got Special Delivery as one of my better bets of the day coming up later in the card as well, so I think we can certainly have Meteoroid in the top 4. Let's take a look at the selections. I'm going to be tipping number 3 Illuminated from number 6 Meteoroid, number 8 Night Prowler, and number 1 Kapanda. Race number 6 here at Belmont Park. It is Australia race number 14. It's over the 1600 metres, and for mine, this is the race of the day. A really competitive one. Rebel Sun, raised in Dubai. Halo Express, your Ledge was a winner 2 starts ago, but Damajo's been in really good form. Coming back was very unlucky last start behind Battle Hero, and then even Military Ruler has just been so consistent in this campaign as well. Very hard to split the top 5 or 6 runners in this race. I think if you're doing the quaddy, you'd have to include most of those, but we will try and find you the winner throughout the race. The replay that we're going to take a look at is Raised in Dubai. A really good victory last start. Rebel Sun looked the winner about 150 metres out, but this horse just went straight past him with a 3 kilo claim to Clint Johnson Porter for this race. So it is going to be very hard to beat again. But let's take a look at that last start victory.
Pike hasn't moved though on Halo Express. Now he does. Releases the brakes. Down the outside comes Rebel Sun though. And Rebel Sun quickly draws alongside of Halo Express. Pike's forced to go for the whip. On the outside, it's Rebel Sun battling away Halo Express. Then Young Lionel. Here comes Raising Dubai getting home strongly down the outside. He's coming 3 at their 1. Raising Dubai from last. Swept past Rebel Sun. Put paid to him.
A really good win there, as I mentioned, over the 1600 metres. This horse just has to stay at this distance. They've tried to go to the 2200 metres a few times, and Ian and I mentioned it last start. This horse is 16 to 1700 metres max. This is where it does its best work. It still shows the turn of foot, and I think they'll be staying here now. And with the claim to Clint Johnson Porter, as I mentioned, just the 56.5 kilos now. So you go back to the run on the 15th of August in the same company over the same distance as well. Was beaten 1 length by Young Lionel, carrying that same weight. Has had a win since then and a second as well. So gets in perfectly with the weight. Clint Johnson Porter riding so well as well. Raising Dubai will be very hard to beat. Rebel Sun up the top. You got a price about this horse last night. I threw it out as my best each way of the day, and as you could see in that replay, I thought we had it about 150, 200 out, but you still got about $4 for the place on that occasion. Chloe has a party to ride, so the 58.5 kilos here, so only goes up the 1.5 from that last start race as Raising Dubai has to go up the 2.5, so you get that kilo swing as well. I think this horse will really improve again. I thought that last run, it just needed to get over the 1600 metres again. It can do the bullocking work, it can go to the front, and this horse is very hard to get past for trainer Darren McAuliffe. His other one, Military Ruler, certainly looks suited as well, just with the 53 kilos here with Jordan Turner to ride. You look at the form lines, just beaten by the Alleged 2 starts ago, and then lost to Battle Hero by a length last start. The 1600 metres suits this horse. I think this is where it does its best work. They'll be looking to get over 1800 metres pretty soon, I think, by the time we get to Ascot. So Military Ruler has something to chase out in front. I think you certainly have to consider it. And the one that I really like in this race is number 7, coming back for Grant Williams. Glenn Smith to ride. Battle Hero was my best bet last week, and I'll tell you, about 100 metres out, I was very worried when coming back was jumping out of the ground late. That was over the 1400 metres. Steps up to the 1600 here, where the record isn't as good for the horse, but the turn of foot it's shown in recent runs from barrier 3 with the 55.5 kilos, it should get an absolute dream run, and I think it'll be jumping out of the ground late and be very hard to beat. Let's take a look at the selections. I'm going to be tipping at number 7, coming back from number 10, Military Ruler, number 10, Raising Dubai, and number 1, Rebel Sun. Race number 7 at Belmont Park. It is Australia race number 15 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1200 metres, and for mine, this is one of the hardest races to try and find a winner for. We have form lines coming out of absolutely everything. The Group 3 Hyperion, the Hannon's Handicap, and then horses that last start we saw at Albany in a plate race as well. So very hard to analyse, but that's the job, and that's what we'll be trying to do to try and find you a winner. The replay that we are going to take a look at was a very impressive one in the Hannon's Handicap. Akadasset just beaten by Royal Rudder of the closing stages, but you can have a look at the other runs of Flying Time as well in this race. Let's take a look at Akadasset now.
Time to the outside. Red Aura still well back in the field. Akadasset reaches the lead at the 200 when they turn the corner. Royal Rudder, here comes Comanche Red down the outside. Don't give up on Red Aura. He's coming down the outside, but it's Akadasset the leader. Royal Rudder closing the margin. Royal Rudder went to Akadasset, got him, I think, on the line.
Really good performance by Akadasset. This horse just keeps going around, but just keeps putting a check in the bank as well. You have a look at the recent runs. Was third in the Kambalda Cup the start before that over the 1400 metres. Second at Belmont over the 1400 metres back on the 11th of July as well. Picked up a nice victory at about $13 at Belmont on a Saturday as well. So I can see why they keep sending it around, because it just keeps getting the job done. Clint Johnson Porter rides here, so just the 57.5 kilos. So from what we saw in that Hannah's Handicap and the form we've seen at Belmont, if this horse is still good to go, you certainly have to have it in your 4. Zester, an interesting runner here. Aaron Mitchell to ride, so just the 59.5 kilos. So you go through the form lines, and this horse is right up there, beating horses like Temporizer, of course, racing the Group 3 Hyperion, as I mentioned. The weight's a little bit of concern for me first up as well. It has won on 2 occasions from 9 attempts, but I think you can put a little bit of a knock on Zester in this race. Number 3, Flying Time, was a little bit disappointing for mine in the Hannon's Handicap. Had its chance there, but couldn't run on. Last start in the listed birthday stakes, it finished 3.5 lengths behind Blackheart Bard as well. I think this horse might just be getting a little bit tired. Number 4, What a Plan. I really wanted to show the replay of this last start. Lucy Warwick was an absolute genius to get this horse over the line of the 1,000 metres. Stays in the same grade here, does go up the 2 kilos, but goes up in distance too, which is a big positive. This horse is very good over the 12 and 1400 metres. I was surprised to see it win over the 1,000. I thought it might need a little bit more distance. I know it has won twice over that distance now, but I was very impressed with that victory, and it was a brilliant ride by Lucy Warwick. If you haven't seen it, do check it out now at theperthracing.com.au. Of course, you can see all the replays on the website there, and it was very good. Palace Intruder, you look at the form lines here at the race in the listed Challenge Stakes behind Neverland, the listed Piper behind Battle Hero, and then the listed Roberts as well. First up has been there 2 occasions for a victory in a second. You can't ignore that. You also can't ignore that William Pike takes a ride. Drawn wide in barrier 10, the 55 kilos, but this horse will be jumping out of the ground as well. Let's take a look at the selections. I'm going to be tipping number 2, Akadasset, from number 6, Palace Intruder, number 4, What a Plan, and number 11, Bacallo. Final race of the day at Belmont Park. It is race number 8. It's Australia race number 16. It's the final race for Belmont Park for the season as well, and I am very confident that we are going to be finishing on a high. It's an interesting race. There's a few horses coming back. I speak of the likes of V10 and Stillspur. Missoula was a very good winner first up at very big odds as well, but there is just one that just jumps out of this page, and it is number 4, Special Delivery. Before we talk about it, let's take a look at the last start win.
With the white blaze, and now into the clear Meteoroid black area. Pike calling upon Special Delivery at the 300, ruling force 2 in front from Meteoroid. Here's Special Delivery though. Special Delivery and Meteoroid, they've moved up, they've headed ruling force on the inside. Meteoroid, Pike goes for the whip on Special Delivery. Special Delivery and Meteoroid stride for stride. Meteoroid, Special Delivery, Special Delivery, Special Delivery.
Very good performance there by Special Delivery. 2 runs this campaign, 2 wins, both in the 60 plus, carried 55 the first start, carried 57 in that replay there, and now because of the claim of Clint Johnson-Porter carries the 56. I can't be more confident on this horse. I think it just wins. Take any price you want, take it 1 out in the quaddie. I think we're finishing on a very good high here at Belmont Park, and this horse will be making it 3 out of 3 this campaign. If we need to assess the form lines as well, Meteoroid is going around a little bit earlier in the card, beat it by a short half head as you saw in that replay there, but for mine, when you analyse all of the weight, the horse that it's been beating, Special Delivery, just gets the job done here in the final race of the day. Mr. Bob Peters will be smiling at Belmont Park as he has for most of the season, and Adam Durant and Clint Johnson-Porter will keep on their way as well. Outside of those, very hard to see, as I mentioned, anything beating it, but number 5, Civil Rights, this horse is very hard to catch. Shelby Botelda rides, so the 55.5 kilos. It almost likes a harder run. You have a look at its best performances. It's when this horse is caught 3 wide and has to do all of the work. When it gets in that perfect 1 out, 1 back position, or it just really struggles. So it's hard, as I mentioned, to catch. I've got it in for second in this race, but very hard to recommend. Number 6, Terraforce, the blinkers come off last start. They just didn't suit at all. This horse still struggles. The wins have only come over the 1,000, 1,100. Donna Reardon believes that this horse wants the 14, possibly even the 16. And I agree with her. Just need to see this horse do it on the day Paul Harvey takes the ride. Number 7, Angel Sky, has been a little bit disappointing for mine this campaign. Came back with a win at Belmont and has finished second at Northam and third at Belmont in recent starts, but this isn't the same horse that I remember from last campaign as well. William Pike rides, barrier 12 to 57.5 kilos. She certainly has a nice turn of foot, but as I mentioned, just hasn't been as strong as I would have liked to see so far. And then just down the page a little bit, at number 9, Bollywood Blitz, 5 career starts, 2 victories and 2 seconds. Comes to the city for the first time. Really good win last start at Northam by over 2 lengths, beating Recipe for Cash. The start before that beat Saker as well, which came out and won in recent starts as a $1.60 favourite too. So good enough form lines there for mine. Jake Casey takes the ride with the 54.5 kilos. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this horse goes in the city. And number 10, Tales of Summer, threw this out as the best bet in the midweek. We got $7 for it on that occasion. Won by over a length over more Champers. Peter Nucky takes a ride here with a 56.5 kilos, barrier 3. This horse can roll forward and just got a lovely cruising speed, as you saw if you were on that start last time when it was able to win as well. And I think it's one that can just get to the front and will certainly put a little bit of tempo in this race. But as I said, for mine, it's all about Special Delivery. Number 4, on top for me. From number 5, Civil Rights. Number 11, Chasing Chaos. And number 10, Tales of Summer. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of Box Seat, so it's time now to take a look at the best bets. I think Scheidel just wins a little bit earlier in race 3, but the best bets, race 6, number 7 coming back, should get an ideal run and be very hard to beat there for Grant Williams. And then the best of the day, without a doubt, is race number 8, number 4, Special Delivery. As I mentioned, drops a kilo from that last start win in the same grade and should just be too good for these. Race 8, number 4, Special Delivery to finish on a high. As I mentioned, this is the final race day from Belmont Park. We start at Ascot the following week, of course, on October 17. So do make sure you visit the Perth Racing website, perthracing.com.au. There are plenty of events coming up. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook as well for all of the updates on social media. I'm Adam McGrath. Hopefully found you a couple of winners, and we'll see you again next week.